Alright, so we're going to cover natural accent and accent marks in this video. Spanish follows rules all the time for when we are trying to figure out how to pronounce a word. So we want to figure out where the natural accent is in a word. And before we cover what a natural accent is, we need to be sure we understand what a syllable is. A syllable is a vowel sound. Simply put, a syllable is a vowel sound. So the word syllable has three syllables because this vowel makes a sound, this vowel makes a sound, and this vowel makes a sound. Syllable. So the natural accent of a word is going to fall on either the second to last syllable or the last syllable. In English, we don't have rules that make any sense. In Spanish, we do, and these are those rules. So when I have a word and I want to figure out where the natural accent is in that word, I need to look at the very last letter. So let's say we have this word, why are words hard to think of right now? Let's do this one. Alright, so we have this word right here. It's a two-syllable word because there's two vowels in it that each make a sound. So, extremely simple word. We need to figure out if the accent is going to be on the second to last or the last syllable, because in Spanish, the natural accent can never fall on the third to last or the fourth to last or the fifth to last syllable. It has to fall on either the second to last or the last syllable. So, to figure out the natural accent of a word, we look at the very last letter. We look at that last letter, and we ask ourselves, is it a vowel? Is it one of these letters? Or is it an S or an N? So if it is a vowel, S or N, the natural accent is going to fall on the second to last syllable. If it is anything else, if that last letter is anything else, then the natural accent will be on the last syllable. So, we look at the last letter. It is an A. That is a vowel. So, the natural accent is on the second to last syllable. So, I would pronounce this silla, not silla, silla. So, the accent, that emphasis, falls on the second to last syllable. Let's see another example here. Let's get rid of this underline. This word here. We look at the last letter and we ask ourselves, is it a vowel, S, or N? Zeta is not a vowel, it's not an S, and it's not an N. So, following our natural accent rules, the natural accent on this syllable will be on the natural accent on this word will be on the last syllable. So we have ajedrez, which is chess in Spanish. The natural accent falls on the last syllable because the last letter is none of these. It is not an A, E, O, U, S, or N. So, following those rules, very simply, we can determine where the natural accent falls on a word. Now we'll do one more word and see if you can figure it out. I'll give you a little bit of time to work it out on your own and see if you can determine where the natural accent is in the word. Alright, so we have this new word here, and we're trying to determine where the natural accent is. So what's the first thing we need to do? It's going to be kind of like Dora the Explorer. I'm going to ask you a question and then pause and let you figure it out on your own. What's the first thing we look at to determine natural accent? That's right. We need to look at the last letter. So, what question do we ask ourselves about the last letter? Correct. Is it a vowel, S, or N? Is this one a vowel, S, or N? Yes. A is a vowel. So, where will the natural accent be? You got it. Second to last syllable. So we would pronounce this guitarra. Guitarra. If you don't know why the U is silent here, then you need to go back to last Friday's video that was covering advanced sounds, the advanced phonetics video. And we covered the silent U in that one. So those are the rules for natural accent. Extremely simple. Now we're going to look at the accent mark. If you thought the natural accent was easy, you're going to love the accent mark. It is even easier. So the accent mark does exactly what it sounds like. It marks where the accent is in a word. So if I have an accent mark, then I don't have to pay attention to any of these rules that we just learned. The accent mark says, yeah, we're not going to worry about natural accent. Instead, the only thing that matters is where the accent mark is. So where's the emphasis in this syllable, or in this word? What syllable carries the accent for the word? The last one, because that's where the accent mark is. We'll do another example here. All right, where is the accent in this word? Again, we see an accent mark. We don't have to pay attention to the natural accent rules. Instead, we just look at where the accent mark is, and we count back from the end of the word. Last syllable, second to last, third to last. Esdrújula. Esdrújula. And that is all there is to accent marks. You just see where the accent mark is, and that's where the emphasis is. I'm going to go ahead in this video, and we're going to cover diphthongs because we have time. And it's really important that you understand diphthongs because otherwise you get really confused when you're counting syllables. So, what? All right. All right, so diphthongs. Diphthongs, simply put, are when two vowels come together to make one syllable. When two vowels come together to make one syllable, that is a diphthong. In order for this to happen, at least one of those vowels must be weak. And if you can't remember what the weak vowels are, here's a quick reminder. I, U is weak. E and U are weak. So two vowels coming together to make one syllable. These are two vowels that are right next to each other. No consonants in between them. And they will come together to make one sound, one syllable. So let's look at some examples here. In the word right here, don't want to say it out loud because that would tell you how to pronounce it. So we look at this word, and do we have any part of this word that has two vowels right next to each other? Yeah, the ending right there has two vowels next to each other. Is at least one of those vowels weak? Is at least one of them an I or a U? Yes. The I is an I. So that means we have a diphthong. Oh, I spelled diphthong wrong. Oops, it has an H in there. So this is a diphthong, and that means that here we have one syllable. We're just going to go through and underline all the syllables. Remember, every vowel sound is its own syllable. So anytime you have a vowel on its own that's separated by consonants, that's guaranteed to be a syllable. Because the only vowel that can ever be silent in Spanish is a trapped U. So, calendario, that's a 4-syllable word. And then we look at the last letter, which is an O, and we ask ourselves, is it a vowel S or N? Yes, O is a vowel. So we put the emphasis on the second to last syllable to make calendario. If you listen carefully, there are 4 different ways we could put emphasis on this word, but only one of them is correct. So if you don't follow the rules that we are covering here, then you could end up pronouncing this word very wrong. So if we have an accent mark here, oops, let's see. All right, so we could have an accent mark in all these different spots. All right, but we don't. This is just an example. The only one of these that is correct is this first one. This is just to show you how natural accent works and natural or accent marks. So calendario, the correct one, relies on the natural accent. Notice there's no accent marks, so we follow our natural accent rules. Calendario. Calendario is correct. You can hear the difference between calendario and calendario. Calendario and calendario. They all sound different. And the only one that's correct is the one that follows those natural accent rules, because these three are not actual words. So we get rid of them. Calendario. Calendario. It's a 4-syllable word, and the natural accent is on the second to last syllable. One of the things you're going to need to be able to do on the test that is coming up this Thursday is to identify how many syllables a word has. So you need to be able to recognize diphthongs and isolated vowels. And you also need to be able to tell me where the accent falls on a word. So the accent on this one, it would be on the second to last syllable because of natural accent rules. So keep that in mind. And if you have any questions, please, please, please join me on the Google Meet, because pronunciation is not something that can really be explained via email. So if you need help, you need it before this Thursday, because this Thursday is the test. And it's not an easy test, especially if you don't study for it and you're not prepared and you don't really fully understand how to pronounce words, because it is a test that focuses on pronunciation. So please get on that Google Meet, 12:07 to 12:32. B. Gerald is the nickname for the group, and we will see you there.